Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great day. And I'll just wait for a few to come on before we get into all the questions. A lot of good questions this morning. We appreciate that. And good morning, Monette and Rosa and Wendy and Linda and John, our friend. Even John asked a question this morning. Jerry, good morning to you. Michael from Wawa, Diane, and Linda, and Terry. How are you, Terry, from Windsor? Lee, how are you doing? Diane, good morning to you. Jeanette, bonjour. Even the staff is watching this morning. Wendy, hello, and Joanne, and Lise, and Donna, and Bernice. Thanks for coming on. And of course, Jerry from Nouveau Brunswick, Rowena and Carolyn, Yolande, bonjour, Susan and Carol Ann, good morning to you. Sue, good morning. I'm going to say hello to Sue, and maybe Diane too is watching. Two sisters, good friends, Anna and Blanche. Is it Blanche? Hold on, let me just get back here. I got to see that. Blanca, sorry, Evelyn, and Julie from Sturgeon Falls. Say hello to your mother, Julie. Okay, so Carol, good morning, and Nick, Lori Lee, and Wilfred. Good to have you on. Okay, let's get to these questions. We got a lot of them to cover this morning. The first one is from Frida. She's asking about carrageenan or carrageenan. That is a thickener. You'll see it. You know how fond I am of 35% cream. And in some of them, they use this thickener called carrageenan or carrageenan, or I don't know how you pronounce it. What do I think of that? Well, listen. In generalities, okay, just understand that most of the time when I give an opinion or whatever, I'm hitting the vast majority of the population. And if you can find an organic cream, better. But if you can't, it's better that you have cream than milk. Why? Because cream, 35% cream, has no carbs, has no added sugar. And we don't live in a perfect world, because people come at me and say, well, doc, don't eat meat because there's nitrates in there and there's there's hormones. They feed the cows hormones. And I get all that. Okay, guys, listen. But a lot of people can't afford to eat organic. And I want you to make changes. Tony Jr. hit it the best when he gave this illustration. He said, when you're on the Titanic, don't worry about changing the handrails. Let's change the handrails. No. Let's get the boat and turn first. And when you change your habits and you get into, you are self-educating yourself and all this and that, then you'll start really reading labels and looking at things. But I don't want to make it too complicated because I understand a lot of people, they're purists. And I get where they're coming from, like I've told you the story in the past about this lady come in the office. This is about 5 years ago. She came in the office and said, I'm moving to Costa Rica. Well, I said, good for you. What do you mean you're moving to Costa Rica? Well, I'm moving there and never coming back. Okay. Well, good for you. Well, what about the rest of us? Like I got I have my practice here. I have my family here. I'm not going to, I might go to Costa Rica on a holiday, but I got to come back. And what I'm saying is, like, guys, make the big changes first. And then you'll get so good at it. And if you can afford it or whatever, never have, like, carrageenan or whatever you call it. Yeah, it's probably, it's a thickener. It's sort of half man-made. Yeah, but, if you have a little bit in your cream, is it going to kill you? No. If you get rid of sugar, you've done a huge thing. So all I'm saying is, but make the big changes first. And the other question about that came from Shah, I'm going to say Shahzad, probably murdered the name. What is the deal with lactose-free milk? Don't touch it with a 1,000,000-foot pole. I don't like milk. It's white Pepsi. Well, you say, Doc, they took the lactose. That's the sugar in milk. Yeah, but soon as you take cream out of milk, you see, when you go milk a cow, not that I ever did, but when you milk a cow, it's cream. There's this much cream on the top. They've taken the cream out of milk. That makes it white Pepsi. Now, lactose-free milk, why do you want to drink that? That's not nature. I don't like milk today unless you have a cow in your backyard. I like cream better because that's today's milk. Drink cream. Okay? And I don't eat, Doc, I'm not going to drink cream. Well, no, I just want you to put that in your coffee or put it in some of your recipes. Make a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie with cream, 35% cream. Give it to your kids. Then they won't miss the sugar. Give it to your grandchildren. It tastes like McDonald's. You're on the reset. Oh, Doc, what am I going to eat? I'm so tired of eggs, meat, and cheese. Well, make yourself a smoothie. Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. It's a meal replacement. Give it to your kids for breakfast. Give them some bone broth. They won't even know they're taking it. I got a lot of parents that open up their capsules of vitamins or whatever and put it in the smoothie because the kids don't know what they're doing. Tony Jr., when my grandchildren were young, they always thought, applesauce was dark brown because he used to put all the supplements in there. They didn't even know it. So all I'm saying, guys, is look, why do you want to drink milk for? Drink water and drink coffee. And if you insist, I'll let you have tea. Why drink milk when you can drink water and coffee? And these are just habits you get into. They're so good for you. Anyways, thanks for the questions. They're really good questions. What is in hummus that makes your estrogen rise? Chickpeas. Chickpeas elevate your estrogen. I like chickpeas. I do. I don't eat them, though. I like the taste of them, but I don't eat them. And I don't eat hummus. I don't need any estrogen. And ladies, you don't need any extra estrogen either. Remember what makes cancer grow? Insulin, growth hormone, estrogen, men and women. We live in a world that's full of estrogen, plastic, air fresheners, sprays, cleaning your kitchen, cleaning the bathroom. And, most of them, unless, you got all natural stuff, most people, we're so full of estrogen, you have no idea. When I used to do a scan in the office, it was amazing. I used to have a scan that looked at estrogen. And if you had estrogen, a lot of it, it showed up on your body in the scan. It looked like leper spots. We don't need extra. That's why I don't like soy. I don't like soy. It elevates your estrogen. Now, I like soy isoflavone. I actually use it in my menopausal formula because it helps balance your estrogen. But it's an extract. It's not the soy itself. It's an extract from soy. So, yeah, what's in hummus? Ladies, I know you like that stuff. Ugh. I don't recommend it. Sorry. I know when you're a vegetarian or a vegan, it's hummus this, hummus that. I wouldn't touch it, ladies. You got enough estrogen. Believe me, it's never a problem with estrogen. Okay? Kristen is asking, what do I think of A535? Man, you got sore joints? You can rub it. Anything that you put on your skin for joints, it's temporary at best. You got problems with joints and muscles, you got to go inside out. Like I love our inflammation formula. That's our formula. I put that together after years. I got 8 anti-inflammatories in there. I love that stuff. But, anything you put on, deep cold or whatever it is, it's advertised, but, it's temporary at best. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. Just rubbing something sore is good for it, And, if you put a little bit of an analgesic on it, okay, that's all right. But it's not fixing anything. Just don't fool yourself. It's not repairing anything, okay? But I'm not against it, okay? What do I think? Teresa's saying, what do I think of bioidentical hormone therapy? Well, I like it. I do. I do bioidenticals, and I got no problem with it. You need unfortunately, in North America, a little bit less in the States, you need to get a prescription for it. But, and you know what? Let me just say this. I am very, very much against estrogen. Either in, most estrogen, by the way, is synthetic. It's made from horse's urine. They take the mare and they take their urine and they take the estrogen out of it. Well, you know what? When you start eating hay, ladies, like horses do, like I don't like that stuff. I don't like that stuff. And look, I know there's a lot of it out there, in the birth control pill and all this and that. But I'm telling you, you want to see one of the reasons we see so much cancer today? Listen, when I graduated in 1970s, 1 out of 20 women in Canada would get breast cancer. It's 1 out of 7 coming to 1 out of 6. Some research is saying it's 1 out of 6 women now will get breast cancer. 1 out of 4 men will get prostate cancer after the age of 50. It's estrogen. It's because testosterone in a man goes down. And when testosterone goes down, estrogen takes over in a man. And ladies, estrogen around your breast. Be very, very, very careful. And look, the birth control, one lady said to me, Doc, well, you got nothing to say. It's like abortion, right? Like in the States now, they said, you got nothing to say. You're a man. Shut up. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into politics, but I just want to say, even in the medical field, there's politics. People are saying, well, who are you to talk about birth control? Well, I'm going to tell you, It may be very convenient, but it ain't natural for a woman. And 9 out of 10 times they're giving you, well, it's usually made of estrogen. And then, some of them are made, the IUDs will give you progesterone. But it's from horses. It's not human. Anyway, don't want to get too uptight, but I can do. Terry is asking about protein A back to normal. Look, those are things, I don't want to get into details of that, but I will answer that question to you, Terry. It's just that most people, I don't want to get into the weeds, people won't understand it. Dr. Martin said that our body makes 85% of our cholesterol. This is from Joan. And we get the remaining 15% from food, yes? I was wondering if all our bodies work the same and make that 85%. Well, 99.9, Joan. 99.9. I mean, look, there's always exceptions. Maybe somebody's body makes only 80%. I don't get into that. I just tell people, by the way, look, you have a responsibility to eat cholesterol. You have a responsibility to eat. I ate cholesterol this morning. Why? I had bacon, I had eggs, and I had sausages this morning. I ate my cholesterol this morning. I ate it last night. I'm worried about not topping up my 15%. It's important that you do. And remember, cholesterol is only found in the animal kingdom. It's not found in plants. Plants are good, but they don't have cholesterol. Your brain's made up of cholesterol. Your cells are made up of cholesterol. Your hormones are made up of cholesterol. And you got to top up that 15%. I was online last night, or I read on our Martin Clinic Facebook group. Somebody said, my son said that, eating meat is terrible for you, and, Dr. Martin's crazier than a hoot owl. Well, I admit to that. But I'm telling you, it's propaganda. It ain't true, babe. Meat is very good for you. Cancer hates steak. Heart disease hates steak. Because heart disease don't come from cholesterol. Heart disease comes from triglycerides. Heart disease comes from elevated insulin. Cancer comes from elevated insulin. Alzheimer's comes from elevated insulin. Diabetes comes from elevated insulin. Yeah. So you better cut your carbs down and cut your sugars out as much as you can. And eat as much cholesterol as you can eat. Anyway, okay. Marion is asking, does salt affect your blood pressure? Yes, table salt will. But here's the takeaway, Marion. You know what affects your blood pressure? Sugar. Sugar. They blame salt for what sugar does. It's not salt. Now, I don't want you using table salt because that's not salt. That's sodium chloride. It's been stripped away of all of its minerals. It's got sodium, but it has nothing else. That's why I like sea salt. That's why I like Himalayan salt. Because it's got 84 minerals in it. That's salt. And when you use Himalayan salt or sea salt, you won't elevate your blood pressure. But if you eat sugar, sugar will elevate your blood pressure. Because sugar leaches your body's magnesium and potassium. You excrete it. Potassium and magnesium help to regulate your blood pressure. But when you're a sugarholic and you're a carbaholic, you're leaching out your magnesium and potassium and other electrolytes. That's what happens. And your blood pressure, what are they saying now? 50%? 50% of the population has high blood pressure. Why is that? Sugar. It's not salt. And you'll get rid of the crappy salt too, by the way, when you quit eating processed foods. Right? Those packaged goods. Use the right salt. I feel sorry for people that don't use salt. And Joan is, what are you saying, Joan? You're, what does she say? I'm 71 years old. Joan, you've been lied to. Our generation, we got lied to. I always say this, cardiologists, they got everything wrong. They blame fat. They blame salt. They got it wrong. They blame cholesterol. They got it all wrong. Don't eat bacon and eggs. Don't eat butter from the cardiologist. Don't eat butter. Eat margarine. Even had a heart on the tub of margarine. Oh, it's good for you. I'll tell you, you want to have a heart attack? Eat margarine. You want to have a heart attack? Eat cereal. You'll have a heart attack, guaranteed. That's why they put a heart on the box. Okay, I'm getting uptight here. John, here's John from Elgin, Illinois. Is there a connection between ALS and diet? Well, listen. Let me just say this. There's more ALS today than ever before. There's more Parkinson's today than ever before. Now, it's been around a long time, but there's more of it. There's more MS than ever before. I believe these are, all three of these are related. I believe they're sort of an autoimmune disease. And at the root of all three, Parkinson's, MS, ALS, these neurodegenerative diseases, what is at the root of that is leaky gut. It starts in the gut. The gut allows, because of not enough good bacteria, it allows fungus, that third army that I've talked to you many times about. The invasion of the third army. And what happened? That travels via the bloodstream and via the vagus nerve into the brain. And it damages the brain, I believe. And you see, it does come to diet, John. Because yeast needs food. And they're yeast is teenagers. They want junk. They don't want to eat. Yeast loves sugar. You see where I come from all the time? It's candida. It's candida albicans. It's yeast. It's a fungus, I believe. What did I talk to you when I talked to you about autism the other day? They're finally saying it. They're finally saying it. Autistic children is leaky gut. They're the canary in the coal mine. I'm convinced of it. The problem is once you get MS or you can really help. ALS, much more degenerative. So difficult. But I want you to prevent these things, folks. That's why I'm so big on probiotics. That's why I'm so big on the diet. I'm an uncomplicated person, guys. Honest. Repeat. It's who I am. It's who I am. Dawn is asking, what's the thought on circadian rhythm? Well, I'm a big guy into circadian rhythm. This is one of the biggest problems in our society today. People are upside down. They're upside down. Their circadian rhythm is off. It only takes one night's sleep of not sleeping, and you throw that circadian rhythm off, and then, your hormones go on circadian rhythm. Your cortisol should be the highest in the morning. It's waking you up. It's getting you going. Your blood sugar is going to be higher in the morning. It's getting you going. That's what cortisol does. It brings your blood sugar up. It brings your blood pressure up. Remember what I say all the time. Take your cell phone and put it into airplane mode. No data comes in. That's what happens to your body. It goes into airplane mode, or at least it should. You're turning off all of your data coming into your brain, and you get repair, and it repairs your heart, and the glial cells in your brain repair your brain when you sleep. But that's a big part of your circadian. What happens if you don't sleep? Well, now you're messing that up, and then your cortisol is just going crazy all day long. It's not meant to be like that. So, of course, that's why I'm big on that. For sure. I preach circadian rhythm. That's why it's so good to get into good habits and, really make triple effort to get your sleep. And you know what? When you don't get your sleep, you make sure you have a nap every day. Put yourself into airplane mode. Pretend you just click. And you put yourself into airplane mode, even if it's for 15 or 20 minutes. It repairs. It brings your blood pressure down. They go up. Have you ever seen the 7th inning stretch? It's probably in the 6th inning, but the baseball games, the guys come out and they clean the infield. They do it in hockey. When, they get a TV timeout, right? Well, you don't see it. But if you're at an actual game, they come out with the scrapers and they clean the ice and they clean everything up. And then they race on, even at the baseball games, they come and they smooth out the infield and they run off the field, But that's what your body does. It cleans itself up in a little bit of a nap. It helps to bring your circadian rhythm back. You working night shift, that throws you off. And, you got to make up for it. Anyway, good question. 10 minutes left. What's the other one? Diane saying, what are your thoughts on resistance starch? Well, look, I think this is what you mean, Diane, that there are better starches than others, right? You have vegetables, for example. Those would be considered, I think that's what you're saying. I didn't even look it up to see the word resistant. They're not they don't break down as fast into sugars. I think that's what you're meaning. They're surrounded by fiber. This is why I've always said, if you're going to have an orange, never have orange juice. Eat the orange. Never have apple juice. Eat the apple. They're more resistant. They don't turn into sugars as quickly. You're going to secrete less insulin. Yeah. But remember, especially with fruit, they're God's candies. Don't have lots of them. In this day and age, I'm sorry. Don't live on fruit. Let your bears have all the fruit. Don't let you eat it. Have a little bit. I'm big on berries. Have a little bit, but don't have a lot of it. Very good. I think that's what you were asking, Anonymous. What would Dr. Martin think about chewing tobacco? I've never been asked that question before. I don't think it's good for you. Okay? They talk a lot about getting mouth cancer. I remember a lot of baseball players, they chew tobacco. Kind of gross. I probably don't recommend it. Patricia, some of us get heartburn. Yeah, a lot of people do. Some during the day, some at night. Some of us take baking soda, digestive. Look, heartburn, guys, listen to me. Heartburn is a symptom. Heartburn is not a condition. It's a symptom. Heartburn is a symptom. In 99% of the people that get heartburn, it's your body screaming at you. Hello? You have insulin resistance. Your cells hate insulin because you've been a carboholic. So all I'm saying is, you've got, if your body's screaming at you, listen, Linda, listen. A lot of people, they take Tums, or they take Tagamet, or they take Prepulsid, or all of these acid-suppressing medications. Guys, that's like, you hear a sound, a loud noise, and all you do is put your earplugs in. You're not fixing the noise. Turn the noise off. The noise is your body trying to get your attention. Change your diet, change your diet, change your diet. Now listen, it's never, acid reflux is not because you have too much, you don't have enough acid in your stomach either. That's what happens when you have insulin resistance. Your acid in your stomach. Listen, you want to be acidic right in your stomach. And nowhere else, just in your stomach. You want that. It's your furnace. It's your melting pot for your food. The problem is when you have insulin resistance, your acidity in your stomach goes down, and now your body tries to make up for it, and it sends that acidity up to your esophagus. And I know you want to take baking soda and all that, and look, I got no problem with that. The problem is you're not fixing it. You're just masking it. You're not fixing the problem. Change your diet. You know how many people, when they went on the reset, have told me? Thousands. Doc, gee, my acid reflux went away. Woohoo! Good for you. That's what I was aiming for. It's because you lowered your insulin. You're no longer insulin resistant. Okay. Very good question. And I like digestive enzymes. I take digestive enzymes every day. I like them. To help digestion, for sure. When I get into trouble is when I start eating too many carbs. That's me. Lynn, what are the top 2 nutrient-dense steaks? Well, The top two, the best one would be an organ, which is liver. That's not really steak, but I have to put it on the top. But look at the more fat that's on that steak, the more nutrients are there. So you guys tell me, I can't remember now, what is the fat? You don't want to get a lean piece of meat. Eskimos give, oh, I better be careful. I can't say that word anymore, according to some. I'm sorry, I grew up with it. It was never meant for disrespect. Nothing but respect. Okay, the Inuit or whatever, they don't get heart disease. And they take lean meat and they give it to their dogs. They eat nothing but blubber and the organs. They take seal meat and they take all the blubber and they get whales and they eat all the blubber and they eat the organs. Those are your best cuts. Tell me, guys. You guys tell me. If my wife was here, she'd probably be able to tell you what kind of steak. You should see the fat on her steak. Melt in your mouth. And I eat the fat. Okay. Teresa is asking about burning mouth syndrome. Well, look, I could do a whole, maybe not a whole, half a show on the mouth and burning mouth syndrome. Usually, I'm just going to say this, Teresa, it's not always the case, but the vast majority of time that you get the burning mouth syndrome, it is a lack of vitamin B12. Almost invariably. So I'll just leave it at that. There are exceptions to that. Sometimes I've seen burning mouth with leaky gut, and it's actually a yeast infection within the mouth, a low-grade yeast infection. But generally, what I've seen is B12. Dr. Martin, Darlene says, with a friend, she said, I can't take vitamin D because it interferes with magnesium intake. Nah. Now, low magnesium can interfere with your vitamin D intake. But vitamin D intake will never interfere with your magnesium intake. That's not true. It's not science. And by the way, with vitamin D, I like vitamin K2. So eat your cheese and eat your butter. You'll notice in our vitamin D, we put K2, not K1, K2. K2 puts calcium and puts it out of your blood and puts it into your bones where it belongs. Okay, good question. Cecile is Loretta is asking about diverticulitis. Those are little pouches in your bowel. Okay? What is she asking about it? What can I eat? Well, don't eat any seeds. Don't eat any nuts. Don't eat, you know what? Quit eating salad. Cecile, no. Loretta, no salad. Salad is overrated. You got digestive issues? Cut your carbs down. New study came out yesterday. Lower your carbohydrates, and it's amazing how much better your gut gets, even diverticulosis. Who else was asking the question? Let me just do this, because this relates to it. Diverticulitis, losis. You know what? I tell my patient, I told them for years, quit eating salad. Where does spinach get caught? In your teeth. Guess where it gets caught? In your gut too. Somebody else was asking about, constipation. Yeah, and listen, sometimes when you go on the reset, you're so used to, your body's used to, you want to know what carbs are? They're sponges. Carbs are sponges. They suck up all your water, and you will have a big stool. Eat a lot of carbs, big stool. Stools are overrated. Fiber is overrated. I always tell people, who told you that? Well, fiber, Doc, I gotta have my fiber. I gotta have fiber. I always say fiber like this. Fiber, fiber. I gotta have my fiber. Where do you think that came from? The cereal companies. They started that in the 70s. Fiber is so good for you. You need your fiber. So you can have you need your fiber so you can have a big poo. No, seriously. I always said, well, what's with the big poos? Look, I don't want you to be constipated either, but if you're constipated, it's not because you've got a lack of fiber. If you're constipated, a lot of times it's your thyroid's not working properly. Fix your thyroid. Oh, Doc, my doctor said my thyroid was all right. Yeah, nah, it's probably not. Everything works slow, including your bowel. So sometimes when you change your diet, your body has to make an adjustment. Yeah, Doc, I'm not going twice a day. That's all right. You don't have to go twice a day. You know why you were going twice a day? Because your body was getting rid of all of its garbage. What's in the toilet is garbage. So when you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, you make less garbage. Your body goes, oh, gee, hey, that's all nutrient-dense foods. Come here. And your body goes, hey, I'm going to absorb all that instead of sending it into the toilet. I'm going to do a couple of sessions on this just to give you some extra teaching on it. I know I'm radical, guys. I get that. I go against the grain, and you read, oh, you gotta have your fiber. Oh, it gives me a headache thinking about it. It's overrated. You got digestive issues, get rid of your stinking fiber. You're taking too much. It's like cholesterol. They lied to you. Okay, just a couple of more questions here. Sandra, can I consume too much protein? Nah. Well, look. What's your goal, Sandra? Protein is king, I always say. Because when you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, you won't have to eat, like you're not always going to be grazing. You're not, because it's so nutrient dense that your cells are satisfied. This is why the reset, it gets rid of your cravings. You see, because carbs is dirty fuel. It just burns so fast, and it's up and it's down, and you need to eat again. Have Chinese food. You're going to be hungry in 2 hours. You know, it's all carbs. But protein, look, I guess it depends. If your goal is strictly weight loss, well, you want to burn your fat in your body. Well, don't eat so much that your body's just going to burn what you're eating and never get to the fat that you want to burn on the inside of your body. Just think it's pouring that off. So look, but usually if you eat the right foods, you're not hungry. So you're not going to have 50 eggs to satisfy you. Somebody asked me the other day, how many eggs can you eat a week? 100? Whatever like if you're not full, we'll eat another one. But you find out, because it's not calories, guys. It's not calories. It's the amount of nutrition. It's nutrient dense. Okay, I'm way over time, but let me just finish. I'm not going to get into, Carmen, the blood. What should we look for in a vitamin A supplement? Well, look, I talked about vitamin A. I'd rather you eat your vitamin A, to be honest. But if you're going to go, you can get cod liver oil. We have a lot of vitamin A in our blood boost. But make sure it's vitamin A and not beta-carotene. Okay? Just make sure of that. Beta-carotene's nothing wrong with it, but it's not vitamin A. It's a precursor to vitamin A. Blood sugar, the normals. There's too much I would want to talk about there, Carmen. But I like A1C better than blood sugar, but I'll talk about that. I'll do a teaching on it. And Debbie, I think I answered your question. What about people that say reset is not good for your heart? Just the opposite. Because they just believe the lie about the cholesterol. That's what it is, Debbie. It was lies. Cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. Now, you know what? I know it's going to be hard to change somebody's mind. Cardiologists, they have a hard time changing a cardiologist's mind. I know that. Can high doses of vitamin D, Monica, affect your arteries in your heart? No. It can affect your kidneys, but here's how often I've seen it in my lifetime. You hear the answer? Vitamin D is a hormone. It's not really a vitamin. So when they scare the pants off of you, but anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. Okay, way over time. Guys, thanks so much for the questions. I love you, and I mean that. Talk to you next week.